Hello, virtual tankers of the world. Welcome to this video. We're going to be sharing some gameplay and discussing some issues regarding tactics, in particular the ones for cavalry forces. And the scenario that I am going to show you is one of the classic scenarios. It's called hasty defense. There are multiple variants for it. And the author of this scenario is no less than Volcanoman, who actually authored a lot of different scenarios. And actually, he has one game to his credit, I believe a World War I game. But you know him, he's pretty much, the guy is a legend. And this scenario is about an American company-sized team, 2 platoons of tanks, 1 platoon of mechanized infantry. We have some maintenance assets and a cavalry force up front, and the American team is facing a battalion-sized force that is composed mainly of tanks and infantry fighting vehicles for the enemy. This is quite a tricky scenario to play. It's very difficult to win, at least for me. If you can post something, please comment or put a comment up in my blog. It's quite a scenario, very difficult. I believe it is intended for multiplayer rather than single player. That's why I may have been losing it consistently for a long time, but it's always entertaining. And if you remember, I shared an after action report a long while ago in 2013 about this very scenario. You can go and search it. The keywords are hasty defense at the Fulda Gap, because I believe that this terrain is taken from the Fulda map. I'm not sure, but I just call it that way when I was playing it back in 2013. So very challenging scenario, as I mentioned before, and well, let's go into these cavalry faults that we have. I'm not going to be posting a full-fledged video about how I did play this scenario. It would be a bit silly. Who has, 50 minutes of their time to spare watching a silly video about the game? But I want to focus on the cavalry force, and something that I keep doing even when it's not required. As you know, in this scenario, we have M3A2s, cavalry fighting vehicles, which are quite powerful machines. They have anti-tank missiles, and they have this beautiful autocannon. It's very tempting to put them into a fight and to put them into a pickle when there is actually no need for it. And I want to bring to your attention, because this is something that I found always very useful, to read the Armor magazine, which is a professional journal for mounted maneuver. It is free of charge. If you search for it, you can Google it, and most of the issues are available, dating back to, I don't know, maybe 1970s. That's as far as I went over there. But there's plenty of reading material over there, and very good. In particular, the summer 2017 issue has a lot of material regarding cavalry. And this in this particular issue, you will see a lot of different scenarios and exercises that, wow, they offer a lot of opportunities for the scenario designer, or if you want to throw some troops into the Steel Beasts editor and play it around, that's a great opportunity to do that. So really, there is a lot of value in reading that as a specific journal. And as I mentioned, this issue of summer 2017 was particularly very intense when it comes to cavalry. There is a whole section written about cavalry, and one article that caught my eye is about sorry, that's not the screen that I wanted to share. That's the screen. Fight for information. When the cavalry should fight for information. And there are three types of so-called definitions. They are not actually definitions because they are not defined in the doctrine at all. But there are three cases mentioned in this article where a cavalry force can be fighting for information. In the second case, it is the one that I usually keep doing and over. It's like assuming that, you know, gaining some information about where's the main effort or developing any particular tactical situation is going to require to actively engage at least the enemy reconnaissance force and destroy it, so you can pull through and get into the in contact with the main body of the enemy. And well, it turns out that that may not be the case for this scenario. Let's go back to it and let's take a look at the map. In fact, what we know, it is that an M3 cavalry vehicle like this one is going to have very little value when it's confronted with a platoon of enemy tanks. So, is there a reason why we should fight? Actually not, because the enemy is moving towards the east, and eventually, you know, all the enemy reconnaissance assets are gonna pass through, and you're gonna get in contact with the enemy main body if you're smart enough to keep yourself out of an unnecessary fight. And that was the thing that struck me and that I decided to try in this scenario. So I'm gonna be moving back and forward within these cavalry infantry teams, and the objective is gonna be to deploy what I could say they are not listening posts, but rather observation posts manned by infantry. Infantry in Steel Beasts has this unique capability. If you deploy it smartly, not in the open of course, but you know, with moderate cover, you would be able to position them where they are not seen by the enemy and where they can report back to you what they are seeing. So as soon as they see the enemy reconnaissance force, well, yeah, good to know, but the valuable part is gonna be when they see the enemy main body, where the enemy is gonna be attacking. And by the way, this scenario is designed in a way that every time you play, there is no guarantee where the enemy is gonna be striking you, in the center, via the north, or via the south. So it has a lot of, besides the size and being beautifully designed, there is a lot of replay value in this. So what I'm gonna do in this short video, I'm gonna show you the non-fight, if you will, for the cavalry, and I'm going to be taking this team over here, and I'm gonna dismount my infantry, place it in this wooded area, and let them do what they do best. Observe the enemy, try not to get into unnecessary fights. And for the north sector, what I will do, I will move all my infantry fighting vehicles into a place where they will provide some security. Because as you can see over here, there is like a ravine or a small river which is kind of dried up. It's very patchy over there. This river over here offers a very concealed and covered avenue of approach. And non-smart as I am, I have chosen to deploy my 2 platoons of tanks in the center in the hope that the enemy is going to be striking us right in the center, and with this particular set of hills here, we're going to be able to engage many different enemy tanks and destroy them from the distance, which is a fight that the M1 tank is particularly well suited to do. So let's see how it plays out. I have just dismounted my infantry, and now my troopers are moving into that tree line on my left. And I wanted to show you something too. It is that the tactics that I'm going to put them into, it is to just observe their front. I want to give them enough field of view that they can observe this avenue of approach. And also I want to make sure that the fire control is at return fire only. Don't get them into fights that they cannot afford. Like, you know, these guys, if you leave them alone, fire at will or whatever, they're going to be trying to engage any type of enemy vehicle with their AT-4 rockets. So as for my vehicles, what I'm going to do, I'm going to be moving them all the way back to this suspected enemy avenue of approach, and their mission over there is going to be mainly security. I'm going to try to provide certain sort of warning and some minimal stopping power if the enemy decides to go through this, in order to get the rest of my force, which is located south, like right here, to deploy some assets and confront the enemy at that avenue of approach. I have tried this. Sometimes it doesn't work. It's like a crap shot. So I'm going to be deploying the other troops in observation posts too. I'm going to dismount my troops and get them to do that, and then moving my infantry vehicles to these choke points, more or less to offer security to the flanks other than anything else. So, well, it's now 7 minutes into this scenario. We just deployed our dismounts and we're moving back. The purposes of getting the dismounts is just to observe. So I don't see the need to provide support, fire support for them. So we're moving back our Bradley vehicles to a place where they can secure some sort of observation plus some sort of security for the flanks. So this is a point of view from our dismounts. They have just observed enemy PCs. Apparently the PCs were firing at them, and maybe it's time to move them out of the fray, because I can assure you they're going to be receiving some artillery fire sooner than later. So I'm pulling them out. This definitely didn't work very well. I wanted to see if there were any follow-up tanks. Unfortunately, they have been discovered. Their cover is now blown, and I fear that an artillery mission is going to fall on them, so I just moved them back. And now we have only 2 troopers. The other team was eliminated, and they don't have a line of sight towards the enemy movement. So I'm a bit reluctant now to move them into that area of observation that they were having before, because you know, the enemy reconnaissance vehicles are going to very likely eliminate them pretty soon. In any case, I do have the Bradleys in the back if the enemy decides to go for the north avenue of approach. We'll still have that, and I'm hoping that these guys can listen at least if there is any type of heavy armor movement on their surroundings.
We're at our checkpoint.
Now we're at minute 15 out of 50 for this scenario. We have some enemy reconnaissance vehicles here and there. Follow my cursor, please. We are not developing the situation. We don't know where the enemy is right now. So it's pretty unknown right now. And that's a failure in our tactics. We still don't have any contact, or we don't know where the enemy main effort is going to come through. So we'll see how this thing goes. We have the Bradleys in the north, sorry, the cavalry vehicles on the north, and in the south protecting the flanks. But that's pretty much it. We can receive a lot of surprises from the enemy if they decide to move through the center. We're going to be facing them full blown over there. And this is the main battle line of battle positions of the AIM-1 tanks. They are engaged now. I have to remember to move them out because it's very likely that artillery is going to fall on them in a few minutes. They fire into the distance, and this is quite intense. And again, as you know, the best type of fight they can be into is long-range type of combat. They excel at that. The enemy optics, I do believe that, you know, the type of ammo that they're shooting is good enough at the distance. So, yep, that's our hope. This is minute 24. Now we have, I wouldn't say that we completely developed the situation, but at least we have a better grasp. We see two enemy platoons of tanks moving towards the south. So now the important question it is, how should I move the main body to confront them? I see some hits going on here. I don't know where they're coming from. I hope it is on the main line. I don't know. Scary situation for our troops. These mounts over there. They're going to launch. They're going to launch a rocket. I believe that's an 84. I don't know what it is, but I couldn't do that, guys. They're pretty much everywhere. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Take the shot. Wow. The enemy tank probably couldn't just traverse the turret to hit our guys. Stop shooting that and hide out. But anyway, we're at least in contact with the main body right now. At least part of it. There we go. Coax or machine gun. Keep your nose down, dude. Keep your nose down. Anyway, pretty entertaining. Again, this is in the south. I don't know how much these people are gonna last. We just have been very unlucky that the enemy chose this path to pass through them. It's almost impossible to get an opposite. But anyway, 4 meters right here. Look at the amount of tanks that the enemy is throwing via the south. We better start redeploying our tanks to the south to confront these guys, or at least to catch them in the flank. The situation is pretty dicey. I do believe, let's zoom out a little bit. There are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kilometers from the, you know, the prize line. And this is just beautiful. I mean, not for the guys who are fighting this thing. Look at that. I'm just moving my tanks to destroy that enemy force that is going through the south. I just want to whack them through the flank. And artillery is falling to our side. This is just beautiful. This guy is getting it really very hard. See the flashes over there in the distance. This is what I'm talking about when I say this is an awesome simulation. Other tanks move forward, this guy cannot move anymore, has lost a track, has no suspension, and the left idler, which I don't know what it is, but it's out of comms too. Beautiful. So I don't know how it's gonna end. There is a lot of enemies down there. At a certain point I need to make my tanks to stop and restock their ammo because the nation is running out. And but I think that, you know, I actually made the point that there was no need to fight for information in this case, which was one thing that I was doing consistently in my previous plays of these scenarios. And even when I lose this one, I'm really happy that at least brought this into your attention. And please comment if you will, if you like, and start a little discussion about these tactics for cavalry units. Now these guys are really in a pickle. They're fighting. This is from a Bradley, cavalry vehicle. Whoa, we just got it. Dang it. We're back. Whoa. You get the tank? I will never know. I will have to go through the after action report file. This one's pretty much out of commission. We don't have a commander, we don't have a radio, we don't have a GPS, we don't have a laser rangefinder, and now artillery is falling into us. So, whoa, my God! When it rains, it pours. So this is immediate 36. And this is pretty much the only tank that we have, not mobile, but with enough ammo.
On the way.
And of course, trying to cut the enemy from moving
On the way.
towards the right, which is the east. And well, I don't know when the scenario is gonna end, and I don't want to leave you without this beautiful image of a cavalry observation post or listening post with all these enemy tanks destroyed. Pretty much they didn't see these guys, and they were able to identify them. Oh, that's a casualty over there. They were able to, you know, kind of not develop completely, but provide information necessary to understand where the enemy was attacking from. This thing you also see in the map. Let's transition to the map. See all the amount of tanks destroyed and all these observation posts of these mounts over there. So there was no need to fight for information, but actually it was more like a more subtle mission where, well, the enemy was advancing. There was not too much to be surprised about, really, actually. So I hope that actually captures what I wanted to do with this video.
Tank identified. Fire. On the way.
Well, these are the most forward enemy tanks.
Ceasefire.
Two down. There must be another one over there with this a platoon. I just drove this tank into some rocks over there, some boulders. The suspension on the left wheel are already damaged. It's like a race, like a parallel pursuit miniature here.
We're taking fire here.
This scenario is always fun. This is actually actually part of the infantry team, the brightly fighting vehicles from the infantry team. Just trying to stop an enemy force of EMP3. So there's one alive over there. How beautiful is that?
PC. Fire. Ceasefire.
They're all destroyed now. Yeah. All of them smoking. There should be some infantry laying around over there. Yeah, in particular this vehicle over there. They have. Let's keep moving. We're moving east right now. And the mission has ended. Oh, let's see how we did. Major defeat. Oh my god. Yeah, the enemy actually passed through. The tally it is, we lost 13 vehicles. They lost 49. Let's go and look into the terrain. And let's see the actual enemy. Yeah, look at this. I can't believe it. I could have won this. This guy over there crossed the line. A reconnaissance vehicle. Let me see what it is. Unbelievable. This guy won the scenario. Gee. Anyway, all fair. We could have stopped them. The enemy had very, very little. Oh, whoa, whoa, look at that. Right here, a platoon of tanks was advancing, and we didn't have anything there to throw at them. Probably we could have lost anyway. Yeah. Anyway, I hope that, I can initiate some sort of discussion if you want to. Otherwise, just, think about what I did. If you disagree, of course, you're always welcome to comment, and let's engage into some sort of debate about the ideas. But just two recommendations. Play this scenario because it's a blast. And second, should we have our cavalry fighting in these situations? And yes or no, we have a major loss of vehicles here, a lot of immobilized vehicles. We lost a bunch of tanks. It's incredible, the amount of tanks. And we have these vehicles in the north flank which didn't contribute to anything. So that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and have a great rest of the week. Okay? Thank you for watching. Bye bye.